In the headlines for this hour on VTV News, Vietnamese stock market considered emerging market in 2024. And support provided for enterprises to boost production. In our news, Israel to launch RAFAH tax unless hostages home in March.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello, it's 8 a.m. local time in Hanoi. You're watching VTV News. The Office of the State President on February 19 announced the State President's decisions to promulgate the amended land law and the amended law on credit institutions, which was passed by the National Assembly at its recent extraordinary session. The new land law comprises 16 chapters and 260 articles, with 180 articles amended and 78 new articles added compared to the 2013 land law. Among changes, Vietnamese people residing abroad who have Vietnamese nationality and Vietnamese citizens have full rights related to land like their compatriots in the fatherland. Meanwhile, the amended law on credit institutions stipulates that commercial banks in Vietnam are required to reduce the ownership ratios of organizations, shareholders, and related parties. The ownership limit for individual shareholders remains unchanged at 5%, but now banks must disclose information about shareholders holding stakes of 1% or more instead of the previous 5%. A gong bidding ceremony was held on Monday at the Ho Chi Minh City Stock Exchange to begin the first trading session of the Lunar New Year. The benchmark VN Index increased by over 15 points to close the sessions at nearly 1,225 points. Meanwhile, liquidity on all three exchanges increased sharply with a total value of more than $1.1 billion. The vibrant market is expected to contribute to the growth and the upgrade of Vietnam's stock market to an emerging market this year.
90% of my portfolio is stocks, so I want to earn profits from price increases.
I believe bank stock prices will increase until the end of the first quarter.
The price of many industry group stocks is expected to increase as the total after-tax profit of more than 1,100 businesses in the fourth quarter last year rose by more than 35% year-on-year. As the market improves, more foreign capital will flow into Vietnam. According to current regulations, foreign investors must deposit 100% of transactions, which can cause exchange rate risks. The new trading system KRX is expected to solve this bottleneck.
In developed markets, at the time of placing an order, investors only need to deposit a certain amount of cash. After 2 days when they get the stock, they pay the remaining amount. If the KRX system is deployed, the bottleneck will be addressed.
Information transparency and increased access to capital for foreign investors and unconditional business lines are also crucial criteria for upgrading.
In developed markets, at the time of placing an order, investors only need to deposit a certain amount of cash. After 2 days when they get the stock, they pay the remaining amount. If the KRX system is deployed, the bottleneck will be addressed.
The results of upgrading Vietnam's stock market must be reported to the Prime Minister before June 30th. Coordination between relevant parties is needed to quickly handle bottlenecks.
For unconditional business lines, the foreign ownership rate can reach 100%. Investors hope that no further restrictions should be added at the shareholders' meeting. This is a small issue, but can affect market improvement.
Vietnam will immediately attract about $2.5 billion when it is upgraded. As Vietnam improves its market and becomes more attractive, capital flows will increase along with this potential.
A number of construction sites in Ho Chi Minh City maintain work hours during the Lunar New Year holiday. This reflects the economic accommodative efforts to achieve the goal of public investment disbursement rate reaching 10 to 12% in the first quarter of this year.
12 key projects in Ho Chi Minh City were under construction throughout Tet. Of these, 5 traffic projects play an important connecting role and have a large construction volume. 2024 is a crucial year for the city's project implementation progress.
We worked 3 shifts per day during Tet.
Promoting disbursement in key projects such as Ring Road 3 will greatly contribute to the year's goal. In 2023, Ring Road 3 helped Ho Chi Minh City disburse over $2 billion, nearly doubling the previous year's figure. However, the disbursement rate of over 70% still did not meet the set target. The city authorities are implementing various solutions to reach a 2-digit growth rate from the first quarter of this year.
We have built plans for each bidding package in each project, especially key projects. Some projects also operated throughout Tet. We're striving for a disbursement rate of 10 to 12% by the end of the first quarter of this year.
In addition to the disbursement rate, we also need to be aware of the dollar value and the number of projects that are put into operation. This will encourage localities to take on the assigned tasks and take responsibility for implementing projects.
In 2024, Ho Chi Minh City is assigned to disburse the highest amount of public investment capital in the country with up to 3.26 billion VND. The disbursement will make a crucial contribution to the city's economic growth this year.
On Monday, Thanh Hóa Province officially started the construction of the connecting route between the North-South Expressway and National Highway 1A to Nghi Sơn Port. This project is of great importance to Thanh Hóa Province with a total investment of over $53 million. The route is being built to meet Level 3 of Delta Road standards with a design speed of 80 kilometers per hour and is expected to be completed by December 2025. The construction of this route is expected to gradually improve the transport infrastructures in the area and attract investors to participate in the Nghi Sơn Economic Zone, thereby contributing to the socio-economic development of Thanh Hóa Province. 100% of businesses across the country have returned to operations after the Lunar New Year holiday. Workers are back at it with the hope of a prosperous New Year. In Hanoi, all levels and sectors are committed to supporting and removing difficulties so that enterprises can boost production and business and create jobs for workers.
The working atmosphere at this high-tech company is bustling again. The company wants to recruit more high-quality workers, but the labor market doesn't meet its expectations.
There is a lack of high-quality workers. We have to open training sessions for our workers so they can work as engineers.
For businesses specializing in providing automation solutions for these factories, the biggest obstacle is the lack of land to expand production.
We hope the government and local authorities will provide support in land access, for example in industrial parks, so we can expand production for exports.
Hanoi currently has about 370,000 businesses, including many large businesses operating across the country and northern provinces. Determining this as an important driving force for economic development, Hanoi city leaders affirmed that they will support businesses with specific policies.
We will support industrial parks and clusters, as well as small and medium-sized enterprises. We'll gather their opinions toward policies on land, tax, labor, social security, and housing for workers. We will also attract more laborers to the locality.
Hanoi will organize a dialogue between the authorities and businesses in the coming days to remove difficulties and create favorable conditions for businesses to make a breakthrough this year.
On Monday morning, An Giang Province held a ceremony to announce the export of the first 13 tons of flat-seeded mangoes to the South Korean market. This achievement is the result of close collaboration between businesses and the Cù Lao Chiang Gap Cooperative, Chợ Mới District. They have organized production according to good agricultural practices, including implementing a planting area code that meet the standards set by South Korean partners. Currently, flat-seeded mangoes are being sold wholesale at the farm for $1.22 per kilogram, which is 10 times higher than the domestic price. Since the end of 2022, the cooperative has exported over 300 tons of mangoes to the United States, Japan, and Australia. Following a successful year of exporting durians, with gardeners experiencing a bountiful harvest and favorable prices, there is a possibility of an increase in the durian growing area. However, this expansion may result in a decline in quality. To sustain the growth of durian export in the present and future years, it is crucial to stabilize the growing areas in order to maintain quality and meet export standards. One solution to achieve this is to establish connections between farmers and businesses, creating a sustainable production and supply chain for the market.
The durian growing area in the mountainous region of Kon Son, Kon Hoa Province, is currently in the blooming season. The abundance of flowers on each tree in this garden is truly remarkable and would impress any farmer. This can be attributed to the garden owner's diligent investment in durian trees using the VTVgo farming process.
We ensure compliance with Chinese regulations regarding plant protection chemical residues. Failure to do so may result in the revocation of the growing area code, so we strictly enforce our quality control protocols.
Last year, the Kon Son durian region produced over 15,000 tons, generating revenue of more than $40 million. Local authorities advised farmers against expanding cultivation areas beyond the planned limits, but rather emphasized the importance of obtaining and maintaining the growing area code. Obtaining this code is not easy for most durian farmers in Kon Son. According to regulations, each household's durian area cannot exceed 10 hectares. As a result, they formed a network to meet the export requirements.
As we are now in a cooperative, we all apply the same farming process, ensure product traceability, and produce consistent products.
Currently, there are only 7 growing area codes granted to the Kon Son durian area. Therefore, establishing linkages between farmers in the area and durian exporting enterprises across the country is considered a way to increase durian exports.
The district authorities have provided businesses with packaging codes so that they can place orders to purchase from our cooperatives.
The country has more than 700 growing area codes and over 160 durian packaging codes that have been granted for official export to the Chinese market. China is also the main market for Vietnam's durian exports. While Vietnam has exported durian to 24 markets, the export turnover to China accounts for over 99% of the total export turnover. To sustain this growth momentum, the top priority for durian growing areas is to continuously improve quality throughout the cultivation, preservation, and processing stages in order to meet market standards.
Coming up next on VTV News, heat wave in southeastern Vietnam continued through February. And Yên Tử Spring Festival opens in Quảng Ninh Province. Welcome back to VTV News. Complying with the government's Resolution 01, the Ministry of Construction has set a target of building 130,000 social houses nationwide in 2024 to achieve the goal of providing at least 1 million houses for low-income people from now until 2030. To implement the direction, the Ministry of Construction has also worked on a plan to bring the national urbanization rate to 43.7% this year. It has sent documents to chairmen of the central provinces and cities to request the specific numbers of social house registrations to be completed this year. It has been 10 straight days of hot weather in the south so far. Many monitoring stations such as Thủ Dầu Một, Nhà Bè, Vĩnh Long, Cao Lãnh, and Thổ Chu have seen record temperatures in February. Especially the temperature in Biên Hòa has reached 38 degrees Celsius, breaking the highest level recorded nearly 30 years ago. It is forecasted that this heat wave will last at least one more week until temperatures return to normal. The risk of forest fires, therefore, will increase in the south. Many forests are in fire warning zones of level 4 or 5, which are dangerous and extremely dangerous levels. Meanwhile, the north is also warmer than usual. The risk of forest fires may increase in the next 1 to 2 days when the Ho wind, a hot, dry wind, appears at Hoàng Liên National Park and the surrounding area. People are asked to enhance forest fire prevention and not burn fields during this time. The southern region is seeing intense hot weather with a surge in temperatures. As a result, workers, especially those working outdoors or those that have to go out, are exhausted from the sweltering weather. More to follow.
In Ho Chi Minh City, the morning's cool temperature began to increase towards midday. It exceeded the scorching heat of 35 degrees Celsius by noon. Though there is insulation foam installed on this warehouse's roof, the hot air still pours down.
It is sweltering from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. I find loading goods in this weather is very exhausting.
It is stuffy in the warehouse, but working outside is even worse with intense sunlight shining down.
The sun is extremely hot this season, making us exhausted. I have no choice but to endure it. This year weather is fiercer than usual.
On many routes, the majority of traffic participants wear masks, sunglasses, and some protective clothes to cover their skin. Several people even stop at the shady places during the red lights to avoid the sun. This scorching weather is considered unusual and dangerous.
The recent hot weather has been intense and come earlier than the average in many years. It even occurred earlier than the year observing El Nino as 2015, 2016, or 2019 and 2020. This is a dangerous weather phenomenon. When our bodies are exposed to temperatures above 35 degrees, we can easily get heat stroke. It also exposes high ultraviolet radiation which can burn the skin and cause harm to the eyes.
During the hot weather, it is recommended to drink water at regular intervals and cover carefully when going out. In addition, people should also be careful of electric shock, fire, or explosions due to prolonged heat waves.
On Monday in Hạ Long City, Vietnam National Coal Mineral Industries Holding Corporations organized free planting activities at waste dumps in coal mines. This initiative aims to restore the environment and reclaim clean land after coal mining, thereby contributing to the green transformations in Quảng Ninh province.
Following the launching ceremony, over 3,900 trees of various species were planted on an area exceeding 2.5 hectares at the waste dump site of Mine 14, Nui Bio Coal Company. Indigenous tree varieties suitable for the predominantly gravel and steep slopes were carefully chosen for this initiative. These trees are expected to grow into mature specimens within a few years.
To increase the effectiveness of planting trees to restore greenery to the landscape and improve the environment, we have carefully selected large tree varieties and indigenous tree varieties.
We will proactively coordinate with the coal industry and local authorities to promote tree planting activities to restore the environment and landscape of waste dumps and mines. These activities are part of the government and the Prime Minister's project to plant 1 billion trees.
According to the plan, this year, 1 million trees will be planted on an area of 230 hectares, primarily on waste dumps left after coal mining in Quảng Ninh province. The tree species include acacia, casuarina, and ironwood. The Vietnam National Coal Mineral Industries Holding Corporation invests over $10 million annually in environmental protection activities, including tree planting and landscape restoration in post-mining waste dumps in Quảng Ninh. Currently, more than 70% of the vacant land, waste dumps, and roads leading to the dumps have been covered with various types of trees, such as acacia, pine, and indigenous species like ironwood. The restructuring of mining areas and waste dumps, along with tree planting, has played a significant role in preventing landslides and protecting the environment.
The ancient city of Hội An in central Vietnam has been named among the world's top 25 honeymoon destinations of 2024 on TripAdvisor's 2023 Traveler Choice Best of the Best awards. The rankings are based on reviews from tourists over the past 12 months. Hội An was an important trading port in Southeast Asia from the 15th to the 19th centuries. It has become a popular destination for domestic and foreign travelers. On the 14th day of every lunar month, Hội An hosts the Full Moon Night in the Old Town and other festival with colorful lanterns of various shapes and sizes. The Yên Tử Spring Festival, one of the largest and longest festivals in the north, kicks off in Uông Bí City of Quảng Ninh Province on Monday. The festival also features meaningful activities to honor, preserve, and promote the value of the Yên Tử relic complex. The community of Yên Tử and surrounding provinces are applying for UNESCO recognitions as a World Heritage.
Yên Tử National Relic Site is well known with the name of King Trần Nhân Tông, the founder of Vietnam's Trúc Lâm Zen sect. In the first days of the lunar year, thousands of tourists and Buddhists visit the relic to wish for peace and happiness.
We visit the pagoda to pray for blessings and peace. This is a very sacred site.
This year, the Yên Tử Spring Festival features several sacred rituals and activities to honor the ideology of King Mang Trần Nhân Tông and Trúc Lâm Zen sect.
Preserving and promoting the cultural values of Trúc Lâm Zen sect is one of the crucial cultural pillars of Quảng Ninh province. This will contribute to developing a unique culture of the province in the modern day.
This complex site is imbued with Vietnamese traditions and the spirit of Trúc Lâm Zen sect. The site boasts favorable conditions to promote these values.
Yên Tử is considered home to Vietnamese Buddhism, with dozens of pagodas, hundreds of towers, and thousands of ancient relics. On January, 3 northern provinces of Quảng Ninh, Hải Dương, and Bắc Giang completed a scientific dossier seeking UNESCO World Heritage recognition for Yên Tử.
The city has been coordinating closely with the governing board of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha in Quảng Ninh province to strengthen state management. We are also striving to promote the values of this special national relic.
Yên Tử Festival not only commemorates the merits of ancestors, but also reminds today's generations to preserve and promote the precious cultural heritage of the country.
Coming up next in our war news, Israel to launch RAFAH tax unless hostages home in March. And Japan pledges strong support for Ukraine's reconstruction. Israel will launch a ground offensive on the Gaza city of Rafah unless Hamas release hostages by the start of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan next month. This is a statement from the member of the Israeli War Cabinet on Sunday. The Israeli government had previously announced plans to launch a military operations in the city of Rafah, which borders Egypt, but has not set a specific time. This plan has faced opposition from many Western and regional countries as Rafah served as the last refuge for Palestinian displaced individuals. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu affirmed the current conflict cannot end without this campaign and pledged to establish a safe corridor to evacuate people. However, up till now, where people can safely relocate on the besieged Gaza Strip remains unclear. A conference aiming to promote Ukraine reconstruction kicks off in Tokyo on Monday with the participation of both Ukraine and Japanese prime ministers. A total of 56 cooperation documents were signed, and a new tax cooperation agreement is also being considered. More to follow.
At the Conference for Promotion of Ukraine Economic Growth and Reconstruction, Japan proposed cooperation through public-private fields, mainly in 7 areas including landmine disposal, debris removal, agriculture, and digital technologies. Ukraine and Japanese companies signed a total of 56 documents under these areas.
We will assist Ukraine in its efforts in rebuilding of people's lives and in creating new industries through various measures of ours to build economic foundations of the country. This will help make its recovery more sustainable and, ultimately, more strong.
Japan has committed more than $10 billion in aid to Ukraine. To facilitate the implementation of signed cooperation documents, the governments of Japan and Ukraine are considering to introduce a new bilateral tax agreement with more incentives. In addition, Japan also announced the ease of travel restrictions for Japanese business visitors to Ukraine.
Foreign direct investment into China last year dropped to its lowest levels in the early 1990s. It underscored challenges for the nations that Beijing seeks more overseas funds to help its economy. According to experts, the long-term impact of COVID-19 pandemic prevention measures and lower than expected economic recovery are the main reasons affecting FDI capital flows into China. In the third quarter of last year, FDI inflows into the country decreased for the first time since 1998. In that context, the Chinese government has increased efforts to attract foreign investment through measures to stabilize the macroeconomy and improve the business environment. Malaysia Batik Air opened a new direct route connecting Kuala Lumpur and Indonesia Batam on Monday to boost tourism traffic between the two countries. Malaysia is gearing up for the Visit of Malaysia 2026 event to contribute to the economic prosperity of both nations. As a result, with a frequency of 3 flights per week, the connections expected to further bolster tourist arrivals. According to the Tourism Malaysia, Indonesia ranks second in the top 10 tourist-generating markets in ASEAN, contributing 2.8 million arrivals to Malaysia between January and November 2023. Malaysia set a target of welcoming 27.3 million tourists in 2024 and generating revenue of $21 billion. And now, as usual, let's continue with the weather forecast. And that's it for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch the program, you can log on to VTVgo.vn or download a mobile application VTVgo. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.